All right, so we're gonna jump right into this one. This again is the Beeswax Cocoa Cream from Wick Co. Just wanted to open this one up, get a good look at it, and then we're gonna go ahead and test this one with the wooden wicks, the HTP wicks, and then we're gonna be using the Flowering Cove and Sandalwood, which actually smells really well. So we'll see how well this does in the wax. Now this is my first time using beeswax, so I don't know a ton about it. Moving it through your fingers like that, it doesn't really, I mean, it's still really sticky. It doesn't melt like crazy like coconut does. So we're just going to use the basic ice cream scoop that I use for all waxes. Just see kind of how that cuts through it. It's definitely a little harder than most waxes. Kind of splits apart, gets a little flaky. Again, not a bad thing at all. Cuts apart pretty nice. It's not as hard as like a 4625 where you have to use like a hammer to actually snap it. This actually breaks away pretty easy. And then we're gonna go ahead and weigh out 16 ounces. And we're gonna be using, they recommend 9 to 10% fragrance load. So we're gonna go ahead and add around 9% in this one. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and add 16 ounces to this. Definitely a harder wax to cut through. I'm thinking a paint scraper with like the flat edge would actually be really nice cutting this. The ice cream scoop does a really good job. So 15.8. All right, so right at 16 ounces, and we're gonna go ahead and melt that down. And for the oil on this one, all right, so for this one, we're gonna actually add 8%. So we're gonna do 16 ounces times 0.08. We're gonna add 1.2 to 1.3 ounces of oil in this wax. So we'll go ahead and measure that out. Had to get a little bit of oil out of that first because actually we're at 1.5, so I'm gonna pour just a touch back. 1.3. 1.3 is good. We're gonna go ahead and leave it at 1.3. And then just like all my tests, we're gonna do a regular jar with color, do a half jar. We're gonna do a melt just to see what it looks like. And then I'm gonna use the Aura from Wick and their 0.75 booster wick. And I'm just using basic wick stickers on this one. I would normally use the red RTV. And that's probably the best thing about wooden wicks. You pop them in, they're done. Perfectly centered. You don't have to use a wick holder. All All right, so we're gonna go ahead and let that melt down. All right, so I've got this out, fully melted. I'm gonna go ahead and add the fragrance oil. This wax actually has a little bit of a sweet scent to it. It's actually pretty nice. It's not anything real overpowering, but you can definitely pick it up when you're melting it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pour into these. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of color. I'm gonna do black in this one just to see if it comes out gray or if it's more of a true black. Just to see what that looks like. And then since this wax has a little bit of a yellow tint, I wanted to add red just to see how strong it was. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and let those cool down. And then once they're cool, we'll check out sinkholes, color retention, glass adhesion, and then we'll test burn. All right, so we've got these done now. You can see in there, see it pulled away a little bit. Can't really see it in that one, but you can see it in the black. Got a little bit of cracking, which is kind of normal for beeswax. It's definitely something you want to take into consideration. You might pour a little cooler. I poured a little cool because you can see that, again, like the last video, the color didn't mix. It started to kind of solidify a little bit before I added the color in here. But again, something that a heat gun is going to fix within a second. But nice looking tops. I'm actually liking that quite a bit. And surprisingly, the color retention in this is actually pretty nice. That's definitely a pretty good looking black in the top of that with just a drop or two. You could probably add a little bit more and kind of keep that a real nice solid black. And then of course the melt just pops right out. It's definitely a harder wax, so it works a little bit better than some of the softer waxes for melts. And then in this one, you can see it pull from the edges just a little bit, but again, a heat gun is gonna take care of that. The top is actually looking really nice on that, even with the crack. No sinking, no sinkholes, dips, or kind of a real potted look or anything like that. And the red actually held really nice in that one, nice and bright. No discoloration really from the yellow, or the yellowish look in the wax. But we're gonna go through and we'll start burn testing these.